For those who have tuned in, welcome to the 2025 NFL Mock Draft 1.0. Again, this is my version of the mock draft, not everyone else's, not Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, or Theo Yates, or Mel Kiper. This is my mock draft, and this is going to be a tough draft class. So buckle up because I will be putting this on my playlist for my 2025 mock draft, and it's going to be crazy. So let's get started. Let's start with the Titans, and no surprise, the Titans will select Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. He's an outstanding quarterback in college, probably one of the best quarterbacks in college football. This past season, he's been to 3 different offenses, of course, so that is the reason why maybe he is the number 1 overall pick and the leading number 1 overall pick. At number 2, I got a dual Carter to the Browns. Again, the Browns have a situation with Myles Garrett, but they can also go with Travis Hunter in this scenario, or Shedeur Sanders. But I think with the free agency with quarterbacks and corners, I do expect the Browns to address those two and expect a dual Carter to be a Cleveland Brown. Next up, the New York Giants select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. He can go number 1. He can go number 2. But I think number 3 with the Giants makes sense. I did see some glimpse of Shedeur Sanders and Malik Neighbors getting some playing catch, of course, in the week when they had the Heisman Trophy finalists, of course. So I would love to see that. Shedeur Sanders throws a touchdown pass to Malik Neighbors. Giants fans, what do you think about this one? New England Patriots, they got a new head coach in Mike Vrabel. I wanted to put an offensive lineman in this one, but I'm going with Travis Hunter, cornerback from Colorado. Now, reports are saying that he's going to play defensive back, which I think it makes tons of sense because, yes, if you play wide receiver, do a lot of teams need wide receivers? Yes, but I think he'll fit in that corner spot. I think Travis Hunter, Christian Gonzalez, who had improved this past season, I think those two are going to be the best young duo in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen is the new head coach. I'm going to go with Teresa McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona. He's a 6'2" guy. He does remind me of Mike Evans, and that's what they need for Trevor Lawrence, a top physical wide receiver. Teresa McMillan makes a lot of sense. Put him with Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, and that you could expect Christian Kirk to be cut for this team. I think that would make sense a lot. The Las Vegas Raiders, led by new head coach Pete Carroll. I'm going to go with Will Johnson, corner from Michigan. He's going to be a great defensive back for this new Raiders defense. Of course, Patrick Graham will remain the defensive coordinator, so they have to address that pass defense if they want to compete in the AFC West. The New York Jets, I'm going to love this one. I think Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan, goes with Quinnen Williams in that Jets defensive line. Aaron Glenn is going to want physical defense. Of course, Steve Wilkes is going to call the defense, so that's a bit rare to see. But Mason Graham with the Jets, that would be a nice fit for the New York Jets. All right, number 8, the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to take Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia. They are going to have to address that defense, of course. Aziz Ujiro has had a tough year as a defense coordinator. Now, Dan Morgan and Dave Canales have talked about this. They may be that next season, which is 2025 football season, they're going to help Ujiro make his defense, and I think Walker is that guy to come in Carolina. The New Orleans Saints, the incoming Kellen Moore, who is the next head coach, We're expecting news, of course. Brandon Staley may becoming the next defensive coordinator, wherever it goes right now. I'm going to go Macau Williams, defensive end from Georgia. Cam Jordan is getting a bit older. He probably should retire, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he retires, I think replacement would could be Macau Williams. Great pass rusher on the left side. He should be a great fit on that Saints defense. Chicago Bears at number 10. I'm going to go with Will Campbell, offensive tackle for LSU. They had some struggles on the offensive line. Ben Johnson is going to want that run game going. I know Ashton Jeanty's one of those guys, but I would say Will Johnson makes sense. He plays left tackle, so you could expect keep Darnell Wright at right tackle, Tevin Jenkins at right guard, and maybe have someone at that left guard position, which I think is Tevin Jenkins. So this offensive line has to be improved for Caleb Williams and the Bears offense. The San Francisco 49ers, I'm going to go with Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle for Texas. They could slide in at left guard. Of course, he is going to probably be the next guy up for Trent Williams, but I like Kelvin Banks Jr. to the 49ers. Cowboys, this is the one I'm going to look forward to if this happens. Brian Schottenheimer's Cowboys select Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State. I think this is a perfect match. Now, questions are going to be about Rico Dowell. Is he going to return? Do they go with Ashton Jeanty as their RB1 if Rico Dowell leaves? I think they bring him back and you draft Ashton Jeanty as your backup. So you'll have Rico Dowell as your starting running back, and then Ashton Jeanty is your physical backup running back. At 13, the Miami Dolphins select Manabu, offensive guard from Missouri. Now, he can play tackle, but you can expect him to join that guard position with the Dolphins. They had some struggles on the offensive line. Tua had some concussions, of course. So this could be a move that they can go Malibu, a offensive tackle from Missouri. The Indianapolis Colts, I got Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia. He is going to fit in that Lou Amoro's defense, who is the new defensive coordinator for the Colts. Of course, I think Julian Blackmon is going to be a free agent, or I think whoever's the other safety in free agency. Malachi Starks is a rising star. He could be a great fit in Lou Amoro's defense. I love to see that. The Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to go with a edge rusher from Boise State as a Rusico. They can go with Mike Green, which could make sense too, or maybe go with James Pierce Jr. But I think Raheem Morris is going to have to improve that defense and bring in a pass rusher. I got Igazurua, a defensive end from Boston College. Arizona Cardinals select Mike Green, past defensive end from Marshall. Had a phenomenal year in Marshall, and he's a rising star in the NFL. Now, we'll see if he'll participate in the combine, but I got Mike Green to the Cardinals. The Cincinnati Bengals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Again, I think they have to fix that defensive line since they lost on DJ Reader. BJ Hill, of course, is there, but Sheldon Rankins is another one, but I don't see him fitting that Bengals new defense, of course. Walter Nolan from Ole Miss makes a lot of sense. He's a physical defensive tackle. He will be one of those run-stuff defensive linemen. I like that fit there. The Seattle Seahawks at 18, they select Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama. They have to fix that guard position, of course. Laken Tomlinson is going to be a free agent, so they could probably place him at left guard, right guard, wherever they want to put him. I got Tyler Booker from Alabama to Seattle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I got Jaleel Campbell, linebacker from Alabama. Levante David is going to be a free agent. Now, if they do bring him back, bring him a replacement or someone who can step up for him. I got Campbell from Alabama to join that Bucks defense and some tackles, some NFC South running backs or running quarterbacks. This is the fun one. This is my favorite one. The Broncos select Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan. Now, Adam Trutman, of course, respect to Adam Trutman as a former Saint, but they got to go young on the tight end position, and I think Colston Loveland would be a nice fit for Sean Payton and that Broncos offense. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I got Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver from Ohio State. They need an RB2 because, yes, you got George Pickens in your team, but it's not going to be enough to win football games or enough to win a playoff game. I think Emeka Egbuka would make sense in Pittsburgh. At number 22, I got the Los Angeles Chargers drafting Tyler Warren, tight end for Penn State. I think he could go up, maybe with the Jets, maybe with the Chiefs, in case of Travis Kelce retires. But I think with the Chargers, Justin Herbert needs a tight end, and I think Tyler Warren, young physical tight end, one of the rising tight ends like George Kittle or Travis Kelce guy. They need their own Travis Kelce, and I think Tyler Warren is their own Travis Kelce guy. The Green Bay Packers select Maxwell Hairston, defensive back from Kentucky. I want to go with Benjamin Morris, but I think Hairston makes a lot of sense in that Packers defense. So it's Hairston from Kentucky to Green Bay. The Minnesota Vikings select Benjamin Morrison, defensive back from Notre Dame. They are going to lose Stephon Gilmore. Byron Murphy's going to be a free agent, of course. So Minnesota could address that with Benjamin Morrison, defensive back from Notre Dame. The Texans select Luther Burden, wide receiver from Missouri, and it would be a nice one. C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, have Nico Collins, a Tank Dell, and then Luther Burden. Now that is a new offense for Nick Kelly, who is the new offense coordinator. 26, the Rams select John Cornell Jr., offensive tackle for Oregon. They do have to fix, I think he's going to slot in at guard because, of course, Elegant Jackson is going to be a free agent. So Cornell Jr. expected to play guard with the Rams. The Baltimore Ravens select Shamar Stewart, defensive line from Texas A&M, and he is going to be a pass rusher for this team. You have Kyle Van Noy, so why not bring him someone else in Shamar Stewart? I love that fit with Baltimore. This one I would also make sense to. Jack Sawyer to the Detroit Lions. I think you need someone aside him. So give Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan on one side and Jack Sawyer on the other side. Now that's a Detroit team that's going to win the Super Bowl with that kind of pass rusher. Washington Commanders select John Simpson, offensive tackle for Ohio State. They are going to need some healthy O-line, of course. John Simpson makes a lot of sense. He's dealing with injuries, but he could expect to fall out of the first round, but I got him in the first round with the Commanders. The Buffalo Bills select, and this is one of those players I want to put in, James Pierce Jr., defensive end from Tennessee. If they don't get Myles Garrett, why not get James Pierce Jr.? You want to go get Patrick Mahomes and did what Philadelphia did? James Pierce Jr. is that guy. He can go after that quarterback. He's going to be on the left side, so get him in that left side. Go after Mahomes. That's that guy. The Kansas City Chiefs select Donovan Jackson, offensive guard from Ohio State. I do expect Joe Thuney to stay at left tackle, and you could probably put Donovan Jackson at left guard or right guard, depends on where Trey Smith goes, or unless they try to re-sign him. And then our Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, select Nick Sarton, defensive end for Texas A&M. Again, that Josh Sweat is going to be a free agent. Brandon Graham's going to be a free agent. So I do expect them to bring a pass rusher in this Eagles defense. Now, they can go after Myles Garrett, which makes sense. But then you got to go a bit younger because these guys are not going to be in that team for that long. And they're Super Bowl champs. They want to win back-to-back, go young. I think Nick Sorensen, edge rusher from Texas A&M, would make sense. That is my mock draft 1.0. If you have not seen the Saints hire Kellen Moore, go check that out. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. And again, I will keep you updated for NFL news and other sports news. So please make sure to keep an eye on these other sports news that I will be posting on YouTube. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.